This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf that is available in print in 14 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, with my co-host Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's AJOG.
Hola, aloha, OGs.
And Mary J. White.
Baked with love.
For heavy cannabis users, the ability to achieve a desired high comes with inconsistent results. Because as overuse can diminish the efficacy for your buzz, how important is it to take a pause for your endocannabinoids cause? This is Tolerance Breaks.
Quitting is for quitters.
That's what I'm saying. I've never taken one in the last 14
No one says
years.
quit. Just take a break.
Yes.
Our first segment, how does it work? And in our second segment, is it good for you? But before we get educated, we just got to get medicated. So let's get stoned. Like that, Mary? That's a good one, right?
That was good.
Yeah, the vocal range on
Really good. Oh, my goodness.
Wherever your day has led you, now it's time to fire up, chew up, drink up, get in the mood as we introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Greg the Guinea Pig. Who's our guest this week?
Greg the Guinea Pig warning. These tasks are undertaken by experienced cannabis users and under the supervision of accredited professionals. So please take our advice and definitely try this at home.
Greg the Guinea Pig, quite the announcer there. This week we've got Chris CAMPAGNANO. He's a medically certified, but what? Okay, I thought I heard you correct me.
Just going to say hello.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're a medically certified bud tender for a Greener Today cannabis retail shop in Bothel, Washington. And quite proudly, you're our Northwest Leaf featured bud tender of the month for September 2024. Here's the magazine right here. Hey, let's pull that shit up, bro. You're in here. Chris,
Quite the honor.
welcome to the Leaf Live podcast, brother.
Appreciate it. This is quite the setup you guys have. And really excited to be here. And just everything this month has been, surreal. Being able to be the bud tender of the month and then being offered this opportunity. Just really appreciate it.
We're stoked that you're here, brother. Now let's get you high and find out what's in AJ's stash.
And now, what's in AJ's stash?
All right, AJ, spin that wheel with Spawn. Whoa,
All
look
right,
at that.
y'all.
It landed on De La Bow.
Yes, so this is coming out of California. Absolutely beautiful packaging, y'all. De La Bow. They pride themselves in bringing the best cannabis to the market. This is actually an earth strain. And when you open it, you've got a match pack right in there
Cool.
for you. So you're bypassing any bad vibes from the lighter.
Yep.
And they've got their mission statement and these beautifully packed joints.
And that is really nice. If you've ever, like me, gotten somewhere with a joint and no lighter, to have those matches in the box,
Yep.
that's pretty fire
Yeah.
choice.
Smart.
The
It's
box
classy.
also has like a clasp on it that looks rather fancy. It's something that I would definitely reuse. I appreciate like pride in packaging for that reason.
It's like a clamshell. It kind of opens up and then closes, right?
It sure does. And De La Bow they are from Medical Days. It looks like they've always sourced from Northern California. They are specifically pride themselves on respectable practices, making sure that everybody's treated fairly from seed all the way to harvest and then pre-roll packaging.
Big ups to my guy Chris over at De La Bow for taking care of it. Now fire up that joint.
Yeah, gotta use the matches.
And
Can't
P.S.
use the lighter.
Check out the matches. They're like cool and tropical and extra big, so they don't break on a stoner.
All right.
Nothing worse than a match that breaks right before you light a joint, right? Oh.
Oops. The matchbook itself has some really cool graphics on it to kind of accentuate the clamshell packaging. So that's super cool as well. Get that baby lit. There goes the match. And
I'm not really.
We might have to go with old reliable on this one. Let's give it one more shot.
Okay, one more shot. Ready? 1, 2.
there we
there we
go.
go.
Boom. Like that, Jay, brother. Look at
Nice.
him. Oh, Oh, it looks like a real smoker. Just blew a big old smoke ring and two. Oh my
Chris,
goodness, Budtender of the month. This guy plays poker or something. Actually, you know what? He's really into sports. This dude.
Yeah.
He's wearing a hat that says "Just Cover."
Just cover.
Yeah, he's a gambling man. All right, so Chris, when it comes to tolerance breaks, everybody's got an opinion. Wes thinks, well, I don't want to take a tolerance break. It's for quitters.
I'm with him.
But, you know, a lot of people believe that, and myself included, if you take time off, and if you're a huge dabber, a huge smoker, if you take the time off, you're going to come back and feel better the next time you smoke. So it's worth taking what's called a tea break. So how does it work?
So basically, when you smoke cannabis, I'm going to keep this simple to not embarrass myself with using big words and mispronouncing them. But long story short, when you smoke cannabis, you have cannabinoid receptors in your brain and really everywhere in your body that the THC latches onto. And then it people say it diminishes function of, thought, of memory. It affects appetite. It can affect a ton of things. So the theory behind it is essentially when you give your body a break and you stop ingesting that THC, it allows your the normal function of your receptors to continue. So that's pretty much how it works.
So they get flooded or overused or acclimated to the cannabinoids and terpenes?
So THC is it acts as yes, absolutely. It acts as a replacement for your body's normal, which again, not going to use the word. Someone may be able to help me on it. If not, that's fine. But it basically acts as a replacement, and the function is different. So what people find is that they will, have memory loss, or even too, like during tolerance breaks, if we're speaking during tolerance breaks, people will find that they've regained a lot of memory, or, they're able to think of things quicker, able to
dream better.
Dreams are a huge one because THC does block off the dream receptors as well. So, it is people, I think, without calling anybody out, Joe Rogan just recently talked about taking tolerance breaks and the crazy dreams that he had from, stopping using cannabis and just allowing his body to function in its normal capacity. But I say that with the air quotations just because I want to keep in mind that cannabis is, and I want everybody to keep in mind that cannabis is very in the grand scheme of medicine, still fairly new and still being studied, and so a lot of things are being found out and attributed, but
researched.
Research, but also too, I think that there has been a misconception as far as like cannabis abuse as of late, and what cannabis abuse is, and how much cannabis consumption qualifies as cannabis abuse, and so I just want to clarify that a tolerance break, if it's helpful for you, is what we're looking for, but everybody is different. And I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later on as well. So,
well, I think that's the key there. Everybody is different.
Yes,
correct.
And so we're all going to have different experiences, even with the same strain or same products or same dosages. And when you're looking at whether cannabis is probably good for you or bad for you, it can also depend on what you're doing for that day. Like if it's a weekend day, high dose edibles and not lots of dabs might be great, might not work for you in a corporate setting on the 9 to 5 grind, or, picking up kids from school. So you've got to be an adult about your use.
There you go.
And
Absolutely.
I think moderation can be a key factor in having a healthy relationship with the plant.
Yes.
The other side of that, though, is that like you can use cannabis every single day. Now, any other drug that you use every single day, even Tylenol or ibuprofen, that'll rot your liver and kidneys out.
Yep.
You cannot use anything every day except cannabis.
Yes, and that's why I
without
do it.
harmful effects, without the ability to overdose, without perceived addiction, like a physical addiction.
Yeah.
So it is in that weird zone of what is abuse, what is too much. It really depends in my view, is it affecting you negatively versus positively?
Exactly. That is, and that is the main thing. And you know what? One thing that you touched on is, you know, every other substance does have, you know, negative side effects, and so, you know, with medicine, or with cannabis now being used more commonly as a medicine and being more accepted as a medicine, we are finding that it is probably the least harmful of all. But the other thing to keep in mind is what do you consider harmful to yourself? Because, you know, I think that I am a very outgoing person, and when I use cannabis, I can, as you can see, have the same conversation with you as if we were stone cold sober. But there are certain people who can't do that, and because of that, they lose connections maybe that they would have. And so, like, it is very niche and very personal to each individual what they consider harmful to themselves and their personal well-being. Although there are no harmful to your body effects that at least we can find. I mean, obviously smoking anything is going to be, you know, harmful to the lungs. And I would recommend too, if that's, you know, your main consideration in taking a tolerance break, maybe just choose a different route, because as far as like edibles or tinctures or something like that, because the one thing,
like vaporizing.
Yeah, exactly. And because the one thing I would hate is, I would just hate for someone who is dealing with high levels of pain on a consistent basis to stop using cannabis and realize that, wow, you know, that daily cannabis use was keeping me from dealing with a lot of this pain. And then they resort to other options, whether they be opioids and then addiction and, you know, body effects really start to take into effect. So that is, again, I want to be very careful with this conversation, because I do think that, you know, cannabis use is different for everybody, and we have to keep that in mind when talking about tolerance breaks, and if a tolerance break is good for you or not. So,
and in the second segment, we'll discuss whether it is good for you or not.
Awesome.
But first, it's time for you to play Don't Harsh My Mallow.
And now, everything you thought you knew about marshmallows and less.
Have another marshmallow, dip face.
Oh, a marshmallow! This is Don't Harsh My Mallow.
Hey, nice work, Chris. Thank you. Can see why you're Bud Tender of the Month and medically certified at the great A Greener Today here in the state of Washington. By the way, 5 stores A Greener Today?
Yes.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, we are in South Seattle. We are in Bothel, Gold Bar.
Okay.
We are in Linwood, and then we are also in Walla Walla, if you're ever out there.
Those are all cities in the state of Washington for you people in Poland.
Our friend Eugene has really kept it growing.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone loves marshmallows.
OG.
And if you don't love marshmallows, you have problems. It's that simple. So, Chris?
Yes.
Don't harsh my mallow.
Okay.
True or false? Here we go, brother. You ready?
All right.
Okay. When Kraft Foods Company launched this delicious treat commercially in 1953, the word marshmallows was named after founder James L. Kraft's first granddaughter, Marcia. True or false?
Marcia is a very old-timey name, and people used to name things after, their family members. So I'm going to go true.
He's absolutely wrong.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The word marshmallow has nothing
It's
to
all
do
right.
with a person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
don't harsh my mallow.
Oh, my bad on that.
All right, here we go. Number 2. In 1953, Kraft began using a patented extrusion process, which involves running marshmallow ingredients through tubes to cut them into equal pieces, which they originally branded as White Rounds in 1958. True or false?
White Round sounds like a very 1958 thing, and so you know what? I'm just gonna stick with my gut, and we're gonna go true again. We're gonna ride true.
Right on. He's wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
It's all right. We know you're true.
That's
we
right,
know you're
Chris.
a
The
true
original
writer.
name was Jet Puffed Marshmallows in 1958.
I remember those.
Chris.
I do.
That was a trick
Hey,
question.
Chris.
It was a trick question.
Don't harsh my mallow.
Oh, Chris.
Disappointed in himself. All right, here we go. Number 3. All right, brother. You can redeem yourself. You ready?
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
In the spring of 2021, while the world was on lockdown, in the city of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, a bearded Lorax was caught on surveillance camera in a refrigerated warehouse where he stuffed a record number of marshmallows into his Old Navy cargo pants, Stone Glacier oversized backpack, and Grassroots California boonie hat. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that he had also stuffed the soft, gushy confectionery into his socks, underwear, ears, and nose to make away with as much of the product as possible in what has been noted as the most prolific marshmallow heist in history, which has been officially recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. True or false, Chris?
You know, I really want to say false because that sounds like a lot of information, but you know, I've been wrong twice, and they can't be wrong 3 times in a row with true. So we're just going to go true again.
The answer is absolutely false. The bearded Lorax has never done that.
I thought he did it. I thought he did it.
I definitely.
Have you read the Guinness Book of World Records lately, Mary?
No, not since last year.
Hey, Mary.
Huh?
Don't harsh my mallow.
I should have mentioned beforehand. I'm sure you can tell now I'm a vegan, so.
What's that got to do with it, bro?
Well, I can't really eat marshmallows.
Hey, Chris.
I know, I'm harsh in the mallow.
Hey, if you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every single Leaf magazine at your convenience, search leafmagazines.com. Coming up in our second segment, we'll discuss if tolerance breaks are good for you. We'll get another spin of AJ's wheel and kick it all off with another episode of Why Didn't I Think of That? With Mary J. White. Leaf Live continues in just a moment.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.
Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.